Welcome back, guys. Today I'm gonna talk about part 2 of my Cyprus trip, and this time I'm mainly gonna focus on education and traveling in Cyprus and what I know about traveling outside of Cyprus, and basically my experience of Cyprus for the 4 months that I was there, and it was amazing. So education, that's something that I wanted to leave for last, and that's because nobody really asked me about the education, and I was shocked. And I feel like when I was doing my research, I didn't even do that much research on education. I still did more research than many people on Facebook group that asked me, or like on YouTube that asked me. I don't think they really care about the education, or like they at least know that the education isn't really like something that stands out from Cyprus, and that is actually true. So the best part was that there were so many students from all over the world. So one of the marketing project I did, our group, it was a local Cypriot student. I was a US student. We had one student from Russia, and then another student from Germany. So as you can tell, it was really diverse, and that was the best part about like almost all the classes and all the courses that you took. And same thing with the professors. There were local professors and many professors from Europe. But other than that, the education wasn't really that serious. It wasn't really challenging, and I think that approach is because of the location of Cyprus and how the people are. They're like really relaxed. They enjoy going to like coffee shop at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and just sitting there, chilling there. So I think the professors were really chill, and they didn't really assign that much work. I don't even remember doing that much homework. Depending on where you're from, you might like it or you might not like it. So for me, I was enjoying it because I was basically there for 4 months studying abroad, but not really studying. I was just chilling there, I guess you could say, and that was kind of good. But then if I think about it, there wasn't much that I learned from like sitting in a classroom. Then I learned like just exploring Cyprus. I don't know how every country was, but it was similar to America, where you can select your courses. But for us, we had to select them while we were in USA, just because the credits from Cyprus would transfer to USA. So that's why we had to choose our courses a little bit early. They have the same system of grading and all that. Professors, there are some professors that you think they're hard, some professors that you think they're really easy, and some assign work, some don't assign work, just like any other country, I believe. But overall discussion, it was more of a discussion than actual work in classrooms, and I think I really liked that. It felt like more of an MBA course than it did feel like an undergraduate course, and I think that was really great. We didn't really do in-class work, but we did do a lot of discussions, and that was the best part about sitting in a classroom. But man, this truck driver, he didn't cover the top, so that's why all the rocks are flying off. So for us, we were required to take in-person classes only, but I'm pretty sure the college did have online courses. I mentioned a little bit about traveling in my last video, but once again, I wasn't allowed to travel outside of the country, but I was allowed to travel to Turkey, so if you know Cyprus is basically divided into Greece and Turkey. So when they had the war and all that, the two parts got separated, and there are Greek Cypriots and then Turkish Cypriots. So if you wanted to go to the other side, so I was on the Greece side, and if you wanted to go to the Turkey side, by the way, that camera is all dark because there is sun coming from behind. Yeah, just that. So if you wanted to cross the border, you could just walk there. There is a street called Ledra Street. I don't know what it's called now. No, it's still called the same thing. I just forgot the name. But yeah, it's something like that, and you can just walk to the other side. But there is you would have to show your passport and your IDs on the Greece Cyprus side, and then when you cross, you show it to Turkey side. And then if you're going, I don't know who's going, but if you're going from the Greece side, make sure they don't stamp your passport, or at least for the US citizen, if you're US citizen and they stamp your passport, US is gonna have problem with that, just because they're not allowed to do that. So they give you a white slip, and that basically is your visa, and they stamp that. So make sure they don't stamp your passport if you ever end up going to the Turkey side. There is a lot of difference even within the same country. If you cross to the Turkey side, it's they use liras. Over here they use euros, and that's not a big problem because either side takes both. Usually the Turkey side will take both, but the Greece side will try not to take the Turkey liras, and that's the whole history of like the fight and all that. And the unit that's between, it's called it's divided by the United Nations, so it separates Turkey and Greece, and you really want to make sure you don't like walk into that side because they will arrest you, and that's basically a border between both countries protected by United Nations, and they do have security there. They have military that just patrols it all the time. So there are certain crossing points, and those are the only points that you can use, even though it feels like you can just walk to the other side of the country, but you're not allowed to do that. Both sides, Turkey and Greece, they were amazing. Greece side had more advanced transportation system, as in just it would be easy to find a bus route or taxi. On the Turkey side, I guess if you're local or if you speak Turkish, it's really easy, but otherwise the first thing you find when you cross over to the Turkey side is all those greedy taxi drivers just asking you for some extra money just to get you like not that far. So but we were pretty good with it. We usually traveled in teams, so we were able to just bargain. And if you're traveling in a team, it's better than if you're traveling by yourself. Now I did travel by myself once, and I kinda got lost, and I had my GPS. Good thing I had this OnePlus phone, and back then I was the only one with the best phone in the group, and it was a really good phone. I had the GPS on all the time, and I was so what happened was I didn't know I wanted to ask if the taxi was gonna stop at this location. It was heading to that location, but I didn't know if it was gonna stop there. And I was in the taxi for like about an hour, and the taxi, it wasn't an actual taxi. It was like a minivan, so there were so many people sitting on it, about like 14 people sitting on it. And I asked these guys, and I don't know where they were from, but like this guy opened up his Google Translate app, and then he asked me to type it in, and then he converted it, and then he asked the taxi driver. So it was really complicated. So that's basically what happens if you're traveling by yourself. But if you travel with a group, you're probably gonna end up figuring it out. So I would highly recommend traveling with other people, but people are helpful over there, so that's not a big problem. The one main thing is if you cross to the Turkey side, I think there is a time limit of how long you can stay there, and I don't think they allow you to cross back to the Greece side overnight, so you really have to be careful. I could go on and on about Turkey and Greece, because that was the best part about traveling, just crossing over to the other side of the country. Some of the fake products were cheaper on the Turkey side than they were on the Greece side, and if you wanted to bargain for something, you could bargain on Greece side and then just walk over to the Turkey side and bargain and see if they give you a better price. Our program, they booked couple of tours around Cyprus, usually mostly for the Greece part. We went to Ioannapa, Paphos, Famagusta. Those are all the cities in Cyprus. Even though our program gave us all those tours to different cities, I remember taking most of the trips again by myself or with my roommate, just because it's really easy to do. It's really cheap as well. They have bus transportation, and you can see the bus schedule online, and it only takes like 1 hour to get to another city. If it's really far like Paphos, it might take a little bit while. I think that takes 2 hours, but it's really, the buses are really advanced, and they do have like so many bus stops. Those are all Cypriot government provided buses. And a couple of times we did take taxis. Now taxi is of course gonna be expensive, but if you're going in a group, it's gonna be cheaper. And traveling within Cyprus was really easy. And I think I was shocked when I met this Russian guy. He was in my group, and he used to give me a ride to my apartment back. So when I met him, he said he'd been there for like a couple years, and he never went to Ioannapa and like the other cities, and I was shocked. I was like, it's a tiny island. Like, to go from one side to the another side, it might take you like 3-4 hours, and you're gonna be on the other end of the country. But I guess he had his own car, but he never really thought about it. And we were actually gonna go to Ayanapa, but then he didn't realize that I was leaving the country. So right after I finished my final, I was out the country, and I emailed him, but that was yeah, he thought we were gonna hang out, but we couldn't because I had to leave. And yeah, that's the thing. It's, if you're there, right, short amount of time or long amount of time, just travel, because it's gonna be really easy. You can walk to the bus stop. I forgot the names of the bus. I do have videos on that as well on my YouTube channel. And you can easily travel to another city and get back within the same day, and sometimes within a couple of hours, and I've done that as well. This is something that I don't have much experience with because I didn't travel outside of Cyprus, but I know many people did. And first thing I know is that it's really cheap around spring break time, and they only had like a week off, but within a week you can travel to many different countries. People were actually coming back to Cyprus and then going back again, so it only cost them like anywhere between 50 to 100 euros, and that's really cheap for flights. And I think that's pretty much it for Cyprus. I know there is still so many things to cover, but if you guys have any questions, just ask me and I will let you know, because there is, of course, education, visa, traveling within and outside of Cyprus, but overall just interaction with Cypriots, local Cypriots. What can you do in Cyprus? Overall experience depending on how you're going to Cyprus and what country you're flying from. So I think I'm gonna just keep it short for this one. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And this is gonna be episode 3 or 4, so I'm happy that I'm still continuing that. I do want to say it's getting harder and harder to edit the video at night, just because I realized that yesterday I had to wait until the video uploaded, and then I started working on editing the next video, so it does take time. I didn't really finish editing the last video, but I will do it today. So I'm gonna stick to this format. Let me know if you guys want me to change anything. This microphone pretty much catches all the audio, but there are times when the road is really loud, too many cars around, and it catches that audio as well. So there isn't much I can do about that. But for now, I'm just gonna keep this format, use this, and let me know if you guys have any question. And thank you guys for watching. Peace out.